Alrighty, what's going on everybody? My name is Splinter and welcome back to another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review. I know that I am a couple of episodes behind, guys. I'm trying to catch up. It's just that there's been a ton of work to get out of the way. And of course, today I'm going to be taking a look at episode number 8, if you've read the title. So without further ado, let's get into it. It is, of course, titled Never Say Xever, which of course refers to kind of the main villain in this particular, well, not kind of, literally, the main villain force in this particular episode. And basically, I think a lot of people disliked this episode. I think it actually was, I think it might have been the lowest viewed episode, or at least one of the lowest viewed episodes. That's at least what I heard. And that really surprises me because, honestly, I think that this episode has a lot of interesting things, such as, for example, I really like the fact that you've got, like, you kind of question a lot of the ideas in terms of, like, Leonardo valuing being, you know, a tough ninja and everything, which is something that a lot of hardcore fans might have complaints in terms of, like, that the Ninja Turtles are a little too complacent and that they're not aggressive enough, or that they're too kid-friendly, which is why I prefer, let's say, the argument for that would be that I prefer the comic books version of the Ninja Turtles because they're much more dark and sinister, and they have a much more raw aggression to them, which is appropriate when you're a ninja. But this episode kind of really explains why sometimes it is more appropriate to go with the merciful way and take the higher ground, so to speak, because it will come back and kind of, like, you know, the idea of karma, how it will come back and help you out in the end. And then the other thing that I really loved about this episode was the fact that our kind of, like, new human who was introduced as Mr. Murakami, I believe is his name. I'm not sure if that's right. I only watched the episode I've watched it a couple weeks ago and then a week later, so I'm not sure if that's his name, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Murakami was his name, who's a cool little noodle shop owner, who basically, he's blind, and I really love the fact that how he treats, kind of like, it's almost like they kind of teaching kids that you should sometimes treat people almost like a blind person, in terms of, like, don't treat them by what they look like or anything like that. Just simply treat them as a human being, how they speak, in terms of, like, what kind of emotions do they evoke, how do they act, things like that. Do not judge people by what they look like. So I really thought that was a great little lesson also for kids, kind of hidden as an undertone for this episode. But that being said, basically the episode focuses around the idea of how the Ninja Turtles get into a fight. The gang basically gets into a fight with a bunch of purple dragons, and after defeating them, beating them down, basically Leonardo decides to let them go, and Raphael was insisting to beat them down, but Leonardo insists to let them go, and they do get away and everything, and basically they save Mr. Murakami in the process because he owed them some money or something like that, like, you know, how loan money or something along those lines, where you gotta just pay the mob to even exist as a business on that street. So something along those lines is kind of introduced to us. Then we're introduced to Mr. Murakami, who makes, like, amazing, almost like pizza, sushi, something, like, I'm not even sure what they were, but they looked awesome. Seriously, they looked delicious. I wanted to try some of those, but basically after we're introduced to them, it becomes almost apparent like he's going to be the weak spot, or kind of like a weak spot for the Turtles in this particular episode. And guess what? He does become a weak spot as a result of Xever's plan to kidnap him, basically, which he does, and he's successful with it. And the idea that, of course, we're introduced to Xever in a much more extensive manner. We have seen him before in a previous episode. I don't remember which ones, but of course he's kind of like the other right-hand man of Shredder. We've got Xever and we've got Bradford. And Bradford, of course, later becomes Dog Pound, and Xever becomes Fish Face. So the idea here is that this episode was focused. You know how a couple weeks ago we had the episode that was focused very much. I think episode number 4 was New Friend, Old Enemy. I think was the one that Chris Bradford was the focus of the episode. And this time around we get Xever, who's a much more sinister. He's not quite as a physically intimidating force, but he's mentally a much more sinister character than Bradford is, because basically what it comes down to is the Turtles kidnap Bradford in the hopes that they could trade Bradford for Mr. Murakami on the roof with Xever, and then basically exchange the two parties and then get into a battle or whatever and get away. But the problem is that Xever is so sinister that he simply doesn't even care about his own teammate and his own friend, and he's like, yeah, I don't care, whatever, you guys saved me the trouble, I don't even have to kill him or get rid of him. So I found that to be very interesting, that they were able to introduce such a dark and sinister-minded character like Xever in such a, still a kid-friendly cartoon and everything. So I found that to be very cool, and a cool little way of building him up to be a real, a-hole. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed the way that they did this, and it was very interesting the way that they just kept kind of emphasizing how evil he is, how he like pulls out his knife at one point and he's like, I'm gonna carve my name into your shells, and it's like, whoa, that's pretty, something kind of brutal to say in a cartoon. Then you're gonna take out a like Bowie, it wasn't a Bowie knife, it was like a butterfly, I'm not sure what you call those, but it's like the knives that kind of like flip out, so it's like that kind of knife. And he's like, and he looked very sinister as he was doing that. So I was like, whoa, that's pretty, like, sometimes it's just that the series kind of takes me back, because I'm like, whoa, that's pretty crazy that they were able to say something like that. But that being said, basically a battle on the roof ensues. The turtles are able to rescue Mr. Murakami, but the trouble comes at the moment where now Bradford aligns himself with Xever again, which was very kind of a little bit odd, because you'd think that Bradford would be like, what the hell, why should I help you? But he realigns himself with Xever, and they beat down the turtles, and the turtles kind of realize that the purple dragons, the foot ninjas, and Bradford and Xever are a little too much for them to handle at once. But it comes back to help them, because the purple dragons that Leo decided to let go at the beginning of the episode, he actually helps out Leonardo and tosses him back his weapon, the katana, because the turtles end up being kind of in a corner, weaponless, and got nothing to fight back with. But this purple dragon helps them out and kind of really helps them get out of a tight situation, where it proves that being merciful in that particular section in that particular moment, was very important by Leonardo. And also, I forgot to mention that there was a moment on the roof before they let Bradford go, where Raphael had the chance to let Bradford fall down the building, just kind of like doing the same thing as Xever. And you could see that even though Raphael is always like, the tough and the muscle of the team and everything, even at that point, he was like, darn it, I can't do it. He realized that there's just like a line that you shouldn't cross, and he felt like he kind of like, at that moment, it felt like he understood Leonardo, which is why I feel like this show is so great, because it does like such a great job of developing characters throughout moments of reaction, where you kind of have to like look into the reactions of how they react and everything, and you kind of like, oh, okay, well, there he understood how his brother feels, and you could kind of see how slowly they're building more and more of a bond, which is something that is very important for a show that works around a team or a unit. So I found that to be very, very cool. And basically, of course, the turtles are then able to be victorious, and Shredder, we see Shredder again disappointed with the fact that at the beginning of this episode, he assigns Xever as the leader. He's like, I'm going to give you the chance because Bradford has failed me so many times. You are in charge now. Go prove me that you can do this. And then, of course, now Xever has disappointed Shredder as well. So now Shredder is absolutely pissed, and he basically indicates that he is going to be taking things, the matter into his own hands, so to speak. And from what I've heard, episode number 9, which is titled The Gauntlet, I have not seen it yet, guys. I will watch it and I will make a review, I promise you. I will also catch up with 10, 11, of course. But The Gauntlet, it's titled the episode, and it's written by the guys that wrote the very first few episodes, and as well as episode number 5, which was Baxter Stockman, which is the team of Josh Osternin and J.R. Ventimiglia. So I'm very pumped up about this, because the other title for this episode, which was the title that we received here in Canada, was Enter Shredder. So to me, that indicates, of course, that we are going to see Shredder finally go hand-to-hand combat against the Turtles, and I'm super pumped up to find out how the first interaction between the two of them go, yeah, expect that review to go up either tomorrow or the day after that. I promise you guys that I will get caught up on all of them. From what I understand, though, they did delay one of the episodes a little 1 week later due to the fact that they kind of wanted to end the year with one Turtle episode. So basically, if you guys don't know, there's going to be a total of 13 episodes. That is the first season. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be 26 episodes, but that is incorrect. It's going to be only 13 episodes. Final episode is going to be airing on December 22nd. And then the second season is going to basically is going to start at some point in 2013. I'm hoping that it's not going to be too much of a time span between them, because I mean, like, Dexter's ending, The Walking Dead is ending, Ninja Turtles is ending. It's like all the TV shows that I watch are ending, and that has me upset. Come on, I have to watch some cool TV shows every now and then. But there you have it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know your opinions and thoughts about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Were you one of the people that like my friends? And again, I understand that this episode really, probably more so than any of the other episodes, felt very anticlimactic and didn't have a lot of plot drive to it, which is something that I do complain about every now and then. But to me, I don't know why, it just maybe just the charm of the episode and everything just worked for me, and I really enjoyed this episode as well. So I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please hit that like button to see more reviews and updates, and it really does help me out. Make sure to favorite the video, share the video. That helps me out as well. Of course, stay subscribed for regular updates delivered to your subscription box. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and I'll see you later.